My name is Stephanie Johnson-Toliver, and I'm president at the Black Heritage Society of Washington State. It's October, and we're looking forward to some special events that are coming up toward the end of this month. October 26th to the 30th, Seattle Arbor Week. It is our pleasure and honor to be partnering with Trees of Seattle for a special tribute and tree planting for the Honorable Judge Charles M. Stokes at the Judge Stokes Park and Overlook located in Seattle Central area. Judge Stokes was an advocate, a resilient man, an activist, and above all, through his accomplished career, was well seated in his sense of justice. It's fitting when I think about it that we plant this tree in his honor. At VHS, we preserve history. We are the history keepers, the history makers, and we will always nurture the history, the legacy of Judge Charles Stokes. And it makes me think, what is your family tree?
Hello, and thank you for tuning into this, the kickoff of Arbor Week 2020 in Seattle. My name is Kim Foley. I'm here on behalf of the city's Trees for Seattle program, dedicated to growing and taking care of an urban forest that helps make our city safer, healthier, and a more vibrant place to live. We're here today at Judge Charles Stokes Overlook Park in the Central District on the ancestral territory of Duwamish and Coast Salish indigenous peoples. We honor these, the original stewards of this land, as well as Judge Stokes, a 20th century civil rights leader whose racial justice work still resonates through this neighborhood today. The act of planting a tree is both a signal of hope and an investment in our future. At the City of Seattle, we recognize and value the important benefits of urban trees, like helping to keep our air and water clean, increasing our resilience to climate change, and providing the natural beauty, awe, and cultural connections that enrich our daily lives. Recognized by the Arbor Day Foundation as an official tree city for the last 35 years, Seattle continues in its commitment toward achieving 30% tree canopy cover by the year 2037. These 3 Doug-fir trees being planted today will bring us a small but important step closer toward achieving that goal. Welcome to Arbor Week, our celebration of Seattle's urban forest. You can learn more and find ways to get involved on our website at seattle.gov/trees. Thank you.
Hi. Thanks for tuning in today. I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself and the work I do. I am Jourdan Keith. I am founder and director of Urban Wilderness Project in Seattle, founded in 2003, and have had the great pleasure to be a part of restoring and our urban forests here as well as wetlands. And in that work, what has happened is I've had a chance to slow down and listen to the stories of the trees. And I would like to encourage you to do that. To not just think that you have a story to tell, but instead listen to the story they tell. And I want to share with you a story that found me in the Greenbelt in West Seattle doing restoration work near the community college. As I walked along, a piece of light called to me. I stood there, and this is what I learned and have found to be true. There are many trees who are not here. They are now ancestors. ancestors who fell prey to the folly of people and their greed. These great ancestors whose bark fell like the bone of a 1,000-year-old parent have left their roots in the ground so that these stories might grow up. Long ago, those created with legs lived in harmony with those created with branches. Those trees were their grandfathers' 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 friends. Each year, as they grew wiser, they added one ring inside of their flesh. This ring was to remind them that they were part of the circle of life. Each tree knew its job and its gift, and they whispered their secrets into the ears of those who could not move and those who could move. Some called to the children with wings, others called to those with fur, and some sung to the ancient people who loved them. The great western red cedar called to those with legs and no fur to use her bark for clothing, baskets, and boats. Whatever the Creator whispered in her ear, she bent her branches low to tell those near. And so she was honored and never destroyed. Among those with legs and no fur, she served as part of the community until one day she heard the whispers of strange new voices coming from the distance. She looked up to the clouds and asked the Great Spirit to release the rain that was waiting in the great gray belly of the cloud. And so it was. As the rain fell harder and harder, the whisperers ran under the arms of the great cedar. It was then the first umbrella was born in the minds of those who sought to end her life. They whispered, "This is where we'll cut. This is where we'll cut." Their voices grew throughout the forest. Under every tree that was round with wisdom, they stood and said, as they looked up high in the branches, "This is where we'll cut." And so it is today that the sisters fell and opened up the forest to the light. Now it is true that some trees fell unable to fight, but others who stood with the people who loved them called on the Great Spirit for fire to fight those who would steal them from their burial grounds. Every tree which falls and rests returns to life. This is the way that it was meant to be. The tree we now call the Douglas-fir knew this. Her voice was thick and deeply furrowed like the rich brown of her bark, for she had many years and had stood through many fires. She called to the community, for each Douglas-fir knows it is rooted to another. That is why to this day that when one of their fellowship is cut, whether it's cut down or not, they all send their life energy to heal it by creating a scab. So it was these trees that took counsel together, began to fight. This is the story told to me by the trees in West Seattle. My name is Jourdan Keith. Thank you for listening to my story.